Hi guys, my name is Rachel and welcome to Adventures of a Filipina. Today's video we're going to share how we bought or picked this property here in Puerto Rico. So if you're planning to buy one, this video may help you. Let's start. We heard a lot of good things and bad things about Puerto Rico.
We heard it from the internet, and I don't really trust anything I see on the internet, so I decided I'd come look for myself.
Usually you cannot trust people what they said on the internet, so don't believe on them. Go here and look for yourself. It's gonna be more better. So my husband came here for 1 week to look around, and then our goal was trying to replace the property we sold in Hawaii. Has to be comfortable climate, good soil, and close enough to services like Home Depot, Walmart, large grocery store. What else did I forget to say?
Everything that we have in Fort Myers,
Everything.
Florida.
So you went here and then what did you do? Because I'm not with him when he came here. I was in Florida with the dog. I couldn't go with him because it's more easier to come just him. So share your experience.
So if you only have a week, I had to narrow it down to just one area. And if you look on a map of the climate zones and the average temperatures for the island, you can see that the center mountain range is a cool, comfortable climate, and that's what we were looking for. So I didn't waste my time going around the coast because it was just too hot.
Yeah. But you went which places you went to check like Utuado. I knew you went in Utuado.
I drove through the center of the island, and I was checking for towns that were in that nice climate.
Yeah.
But I spent days looking around there, and most of the towns in the mountains didn't have what we needed.
Yeah, it's too far. It's too far for everything. They have a nice mountains, nice view, but the problem is you gonna get nothing. Like take you 2 hours just to go to with like maybe Home Depot and Walmart took like that long. So you focus on Kaye.
Yeah, Cayey was the only town in the mountain range that had a decent climate, and it had everything that we needed, but a few things it didn't have, but
You can get it in Caguas because Caguas is a big city and Kaye is smaller. So the things we gotta get in Kaye, just go in Caguas and get them. And then
yeah, so I looked between Caguas and Cayey for something around 1,800 foot elevation,
yeah,
and so I looked on Classificado online. That's the local place that they
the
advertise.
Classificado online is just like a Craigslist that you can buy anything and you can say anything there, but it's Spanish, so we had a hard time to looking at there because we don't speak Spanish. And he found this property in Classificado, and then actually it's super hard to.
Well, I found another one first. It was a house with some property on it,
Yeah,
but it was really neat. It was higher elevation, probably too cool to grow tropical fruit trees.
Yeah.
It was comfortable to live, but it was further from town. I did make an offer on it because it was pretty neat place, but they turned it down. They wanted close to full price, and I thought it was just too much, and then it would have been too difficult
yeah.
to live there with being out farther from things. And so then I found this piece, and I looked at it, but I couldn't get in the property. It was just jungle.
Yeah.
What I
So
liked about it was the fact that it had a narrow entrance, just enough for a driveway from the road.
yeah.
But it was a big property. It was half of a mountain actually, but the only one way to get in it, and that's what I liked about it, because I like the privacy of it.
Yeah, so he saw this property like afternoon already and he couldn't go on the property. So he even have a hard time to see the sign, the event sign, because it's covered with the grass or trees. So, and then he went to Home Depot to get a machete. Then the next day he went back here in the property and he walked with the machete using clearing something, and he managed to walk along the property, and then he checked the elevation and the neighbors and everything that he wants to check. And the neighbors here is super nice, like they're super kind. So yeah, he checked everything and then he wants this place and he decided to make an offer and tell him.
Yeah, so I only had a day left, so I made an offer on it and just headed back to Florida. And I heard back when I was in Florida, and they didn't accept it.
Yeah, the first offer didn't accept it, and he raised offer a little bit, and finally he accepted it. And then after a few months of paperwork, took I think 5 months, 6 months to do the paperwork, and then say
Yeah, they wanted both of us here for the closing, and it was too difficult. So I managed to get Rachel to sign off on stuff,
yeah.
and we were able to do it. It wasn't easy, but they've got their weird ways of land transfer here. It's not as easy. Most properties aren't registered. They're real hard to buy. I mean, if they come, that's probably the first thing you have to do is make sure it's registered.
It's not hard to buy, it's just hard to transfer. It's easy to buy here.
Yeah.
It's easy to buy a property here. The problem is it's hard to transfer. So make sure that the property you're gonna buy has a title. And we are lucky because this property was a bank owned, and
Yeah, so I knew for sure they owned it, and they had a survey, and they had it. It was in their name, so it was easier to buy that way. Because the neighbors just live on property that was handed down for generations, and I don't see how they can sell it. There's a lot of houses, abandoned houses around here that people just can't buy because they can't transfer the deeds. So that's why they stay abandoned.
yeah. So and then we're at until that after the paperwork 6 months. Because the closing we couldn't do the closing without you. So has to be person doing the closing. So he flew back here in Puerto Rico for 3 days to do the closing, and went back to Florida. And you got the title after how long?
They transferred one of the properties fairly quick, like a month or so.
So
But
yeah,
the other one's still not done, but they're claimed to be working on it.
they're still working on it. But we got the one title. So gave them some tips or ideas when they're gonna buy a property here in Puerto Rico.
I guess the first thing is to identify what you want. They have coastal property, they have dry, they have rainy, they have hot, they have cold. So you got to just narrow it down, and then how far you want to be from the city.
Yeah.
You want to be out in the boonies, it's real easy. But if you want to be able to get something, go shopping sometimes, go to a restaurant or movie, then you got to find a town that you like.
just like here,
Yeah,
just like
so
Kaye. Plus,
the Cayenne is a nice town, and we
mm,
like it because it's so close to the town we in Florida that we live.
yeah. And then think what you're gonna do on your property. Like if you like us, we like farming, and we like doing the fruit trees and gardening. So we pick this area. Some people like stay near in the beach and pick the beach, pick near in the beach, or people like near in the like San Juan in town. So pick that one. So we choose to pick this place because we like gardening and we like the climate here, and it's super private. And what else that you want to share it to them? So yeah, I think that's all. That's all. That's Alex experience when he bought this property. I hope this helps if you are buying a property. So thank you for watching. Bye for now.